Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day to you. Hi. If you don't know me, hello. My name is Heather, and I'm the music director at the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm bent over this way so that I can start our drum machine. Let's stand. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. I'm on a journey of awakening to the presence of God within me, expressing peace, joy, love, and harmony on this journey of awakening. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. I'm on a journey of awakening to the presence of God within me, expressing peace, joy, love, and harmony on this journey of awakening. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. Praise for the journey of awakening.
We just watched Good Morning Vietnam the other day, and I just want to say, good morning! Hello, everyone. Happy Mother's Day for all the women, mothers and grandmothers out there. My name is David Burke, and on behalf, I'm your trustee today on duty, and on behalf of Reverend Donna Maurer and the Board of Trustees, I am privileged to welcome you to the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Whoever you are, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, that's great. Thank you, Heather. You are truly welcome here. Here you will be validated, supported, and encouraged to be all that you are meant to be. Our vision statement is love in action, every day, in every way. We express this joy, this love, by learning and living the principles of the science of mind. You'll find our declaration principles on the back of your program. Please join me now in reading them. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life as happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. So I'd like to ask if we have any first-timers today who'd like to be acknowledged. You tell us who you are and where you come from.
I'm Cheryl, and I live in Green Valley. Been here 3 years. So, Gary. Gary.
Good morning. All right. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm Linda Hull, and I'm from Alaska. I've been in Green Valley for about a year now.
stay after, get to know us a little bit, have some refreshments, and we'd like to get to know you.
David.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I want you to know that I have my daughter here, Jessica.
I'm so sorry.
Wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more.
I have my good friend Jasmine here. She's in Green Valley.
And she's here for the first time.
Thank you for coming. Quite a few first timers, so thank you and welcome for being here. I would like to thank all the people that make the Sunday celebration possible. And first of all, that's you sitting in the chairs, because you all make this center what it is. I believe it's a fantastic place, so thank you very much. You know, if we didn't come here, it just wouldn't be the same without it. And I totally feel that right. So thank you all for being here. Please direct your attention to the announcements that are in your bulletin. If you're watching online, please visit cslaz.org for your announcements and events calendar.
If you're new here with us, the words to our Namaste song are inside the first page of your bulletin, if you'd like to join us. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. Namaste.
Good morning. My name is Louise, and I am your practitioner today. And the first thing I would like to do is light our candle, just knowing that this service is blessed today. So I'm going to do the invocation. So if you just get comfortable, close your eyes, whatever makes you comfortable. And just know that there is one power, one presence, one truth in the universe, and it is God. God is all there is. And I know that we are each blessed with this power, this presence, and this truth. I know that this truth sets us free to explore deeper into ourselves, to know the love of God that resides at our very core. I know that the love that we each carry out into the world in big ways and small ways is the truth of who we are. Our stories are the truth of who we each are, and I am grateful for those who Our stories are the truth of who we each are, and I acknowledge this within each of us, that divine presence. And I know that today there are blessings for each and every one of us here, for those who are joining us from elsewhere. And I know that this service is truly blessed, as are Reverend Donna's words and the words of today's service. I anchor this by saying, and so it is. So just a little bit about practitioners and what we do in the church. As practitioners, we're the praying arm of the church. So if you have a prayer request, we have a box over on the table there. Please be sure to put in your prayer requests. We pray for positive, negative, anything, and we turn it into a positive force in the universe. And today I'm really excited to tell you that I brought both pages of my reading. And I'm going to talk, since it's Mother's Day, I wrote something up, and if I get an allergy attack in the middle of the reading, just bear with me. So I grew up in an era, like most of us, when our parents were stern rulers over our lives. They showed love through discipline. They taught us about the world through hard work, doled out consequences for bad behavior, and they expected good behavior. My maternal grandmother scared me. She was a statuesque woman of 5'10". She stood tall, like this, and proper, and rarely smiled. She always wore what to look to me at the time, a very drab dress and black, chunky grandma shoes. The way my grandmother looked at me could burn a hole right through my little soul. It seemed to me her fists were always clenched when she visited our home, perhaps because there were 7 hooligans running around the house in a state of controlled chaos, and that was much to her dismay. I share this as this was my mother's mother and the person who most deeply influenced my own mother. My perception of my mother was not a good one for a very long time. She did not have time to sit with each of us. Lord knows she was busy. And she didn't have time to explore our fragile little psyches with us. Hugging and showing love and affection were not a part of growing up in our household. My mother did not smile much either, and she always seemed a little put out and angry. I am number 5 of 7 children, and I was a very difficult, uncommunicative child. I was confused about what was going on around me, and I just handled that by withdrawing into my own world. I did not feel loved or valued as a child. When my mother did reach out to me, I didn't understand why or even how to interact with her. I share these thoughts as I have learned through our teachings that this was simply my perception. I never did understand my mother, but when my son was born, I immediately understood a mother's love for her child. I knew that my perception that my mother didn't love me was completely wrong. The reality is that my mother loved each of us deeply and was so exhausted most of the time that she didn't have the physical or emotional energy to attend to all of us. When I look back, I realize that my mother did small acts of kindness that I didn't recognize. Through her actions, she left me gifts for which I am deeply grateful. My mother instilled in me her deep faith and spirituality. She endowed in me a respect for all people, no matter what their status on earth. She passed to me her love of books, reading, and lifelong learning. She empowered me with her quiet strength. My mother never did verbalize her love and was always uncomfortable with physical affection, but she was a good mother whose actions spoke much louder than her words. I conclude with this quote from Robert Louis Stevenson. She moves in my blood and whispers to me. Namaste. So I take this candle and I hold the high watch for each and every one of us.
So at my own peril, I wasn't going to do this song, but as Louise always does, as you always do, you said the magic words and connected the song. So thank you. I've got money in my pocket. I like the color of my hair. I've got a friend who loves me. Got a house, I've got a car. I've got a good mother, and her voice is what keeps me here. Feet on ground, heart in hand, facing forward, be yourself. I never wanted anything. No, I never wanted anything so bad, so bad. Cardboard masks of all the people I've been thrown out with all the rusted, tangled, dented, stupid miseries. You could say I'm hard to hold, but if you know me, you know I've got a good father, and his strength is what makes me cry. Feet on ground, heart in hand, facing forward, be yourself. I never wanted anything. No, I never wanted anything so bad, so bad. I've got money in my pocket. I like the color of my hair. I've got a friend who loves me. Got a house, I've got a car. I've got a good mother, and her voice is what keeps me here. Feet on ground, heart in hand, facing forward, be yourself. Heart in hand, feet on ground, facing forward, be yourself. Heart in hand, feet on ground, facing forward, be yourself. Never wanted anything so bad. Never wanted anything so bad.
Yeah, the first Mother's Day without your mother was probably the hardest. I love you, sweetheart. Thank you for doing that. I know it was tough.
I love you too.
Well, good morning. So, as we all know, today's Mother's Day, and we celebrate not only mothers, but those women who've served in our lives as surrogate moms. You know, the people that we could go to when we weren't sure of where we should be or what we should do. My mom, like Louise said, my mom was very critical, and I often felt like I couldn't go to her. So I had an Aunt Jackie, and my Aunt Jackie was my surrogate mom, and I could always go and talk to her about things that I would never let my mother know about. So she played a great part in my life. You know, a group of elementary kids were asked what is the difference between moms and dads. Moms work at work and work at home, and dads just go to work at work. Moms know how to talk to teachers without scaring them. Dads are taller and stronger, but moms have all the real power, because that's who you have to ask when you want to sleep over. Moms have magic. They make you feel better without medicine. So, some of the things about kids. So today we honor the moms of the world, but I'd also, for all of us, to celebrate that divine feminine energy that's part of our spiritual and physical world, alongside the masculine. Andrew Harvey in The Mystic Vision says, in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the image of the ineffable mystery of life that we have called God has contained no feminine dimension to balance its lonely masculinity. It's been defined solely in male imagery and has been conceived as transcendent to, rather than immanent within life. Yet now the feminine image of the divine is mysteriously permeating our consciousness. And I think it is so because people are looking for a spiritual path, a place where mystery is important, rather than a theology that one has to follow. And in that quest for spirituality, we find that divine feminine. Our theme this month is common sense spirituality, and I think that for our spirituality to have common sense, it must incorporate both the feminine and the masculine aspects of God. While the masculine tells us that we have dominion over, and sometimes that's very necessary, the feminine whispers that we have stewardship. And that's a feminine-masculine contradiction. It's not about gender. It's about the way we see our world and the way we see ourselves in it. You know, indigenous cultures have always understood and mastered those seemingly contradictory aspects. You know, I've read where the Native American people wear moccasins so that they won't hurt their Mother Earth. You know? So something soft on their feet would be soft on their mother as well. In English, the English language does not have gender-specific pronouns, as does the Latin-based ones, and which use L as masculine, law as feminine. I mean, we know that all we should do is drive around the neighborhoods with all the L's and laws, start our streets. In some ways, I think it's sad that we don't have that. Because if we look at the sea as feminine, la mer, if the sky as masculine, el cielo, the earth is feminine, la tierra, the sun is masculine, el sol, the moon as feminine, la luna, then we can begin to see the characteristics of both the feminine and masculine nature of our world. The sun is direct light. The moon is reflected. The sea is the womb of life. The earth is truly our Mother Earth, providing us with all the sustenance we will ever need. So we see this interplay of the yin and yang in all of life's aspects. Our topic for Mother's Day is enduring grace. And the word grace is, from a theological standpoint, is usually defined as a virtue coming from God, or the free and unmerited favor of God as manifested in the salvation of sinners and the bestowal of blessings. But to me, this idea of grace as being enjoyed by divine favor gives me a sense of a God outside of us who determines rather capriciously who is going to experience a blessing and who is not. That was my Sunday school God, that sat on a throne in the sky and watched me to see if I was good. And so when I came into this teaching, I was so happy to have a new definition of God, as a universal life force and energy running through everything, an intelligent presence pervading all space, a beginningless and endless eternity, a self-existent cause, a perfect union, and a complete wholeness. I could put away my God in the sky and really look at grace as the inherent gift that is life itself, rather than something that is bestowed from an outside source. It's a flow of loving energy that I'm always in, even if I don't know it, even if I do things that seem to separate myself from it. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, tells us the eternal gift is always made. The gift of God is the nature of God, the eternal givingness. God cannot help making the gift because God is the gift. And like any gift, for the transaction to be complete, it must be accepted. As you and I come to understand this life, our life, as God in expression, as we love in expression, then we can embrace that gift that we've been given. We can begin to see through that lens of enduring grace, and our world changes because we do. And I want to talk about some of the gifts that come to us as we are guided by enduring grace. When we are guided by enduring grace, life takes on a sense of mystery and wonder. Author and conservationist Rachel Carlson said, "If I had influence with the good fairy who is supposed to preside over the christening of all children, I should ask that her gift to each child in the world be a sense of wonder so indestructible that it would last throughout life." And it seems as though all children are kind of born with a sense of wonder. When my grandchild was a baby, his eyes would light up and he would laugh and point whenever we turned on a light or a fan. Like I can still see him. He's like, 16 now. And I can still remember a fan would go on. As adults, we tend to lose that sense of wonder. We know how the light works. And the only time we consider it is when the bulb goes out, and then we're annoyed. When we live by enduring grace, the mystery and wonder return. So we no longer take life for granted, but we start to see each tiny thing as a gift from life. The Buddha said, if we could see the miracle of a single flower clearly, our whole life would change. And Abraham Heschel called this kind of wonder radical amazement. I love that statement, radical amazement. It's a sense of perpetual surprise and delight. And without it, we do take things for granted and don't see their mystery or their beauty. He says as a civilization advances, a sense of wonder declines. Such decline is an alarming symptom of our state of mind. Humankind will not perish for want of information, but only for want of appreciation. The beginning of our happiness lies in the understanding that life without wonder is not worth living. What we lack is not a will to believe, but a will to wonder. So when you and I are guided by that enduring grace, we no longer take things for granted. We become aware of the gifts that are in each and every experience, no matter how large or how small. Another idea is that when we are guided by enduring grace, synchronicities occur. And I think we've all experienced that. I think they talked about, I'm not supposed to know this, but I think they talked about this at the men's breakfast. Dennis is looking at me. So we find that we're exactly the right place at the right time in order for some joyful experience to happen. And the one that I've told before that I love so very much is the one by Deepak Chopra. And he says, some months ago I was in my office looking over a project that needed some cover art, but I knew no professional illustrators. As soon as I had the thought, I wonder who I can find, the phone rang. It was my daughter Malika calling from India. When I mentioned my problem, she immediately suggested an artist from Dublin, Ireland, named Susan Malcolm. Neither of us had any idea where she lived in Dublin. I hung up and thought nothing more about it until a publisher friend called me from England. On the off chance, I asked him if he knew Suzanne Malcolm, but he didn't. An hour later, he found himself at a cocktail party. When the person next to him received a phone call on his cell phone, he put it to his ear and said, Suzanne. My publisher friend gave in to a sudden impulse. Could that possibly Suzanne Malcolm that you're talking to? Well, it was. My friend took down her telephone number and also asked her to call me. Well, by this time on the same day, I had flown to Los Angeles for a scheduled lecture. I was early, so I pulled my rental car over to the curb. I had no idea where I was. Checking messages on my cell, I found one from Suzanne Malcolm. So I immediately called her back. Hello, a woman's voice answered. Suzanne, I said, introducing myself. I was wondering whether you could fly over from Dublin. I think I have an assignment for you. Well, actually, I'm not in Ireland at the moment. I'm in Los Angeles. Really? Where are you staying? I asked. She gave me the address. I looked outside my car window and felt a shudder pass through me. I was parked directly in front of the address she had just given me. Isn't that great? But these things happen, and they happen all the time. But because we don't pay attention to them, they don't become center stage in our life. So if we want this to happen, we have to realize that that wonder and enduring grace that we are living in gives us those beautiful little synchronicities in our life. So the definition of synchronicity is the simultaneous occurrence of events that appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. So I do believe that there is a connection, but we don't see it because it's a way of being in the world that is not in the realm of ordinary experience. So it becomes more apparent when we appreciate both the masculine and the feminine at work in every experience. When we are guided by grace, our intentions are manifested more intensely because we are more willing to trust in that sea of unlimited potential that is that infinite intelligence within us. You know, when we stop trying to figure out how something must be done, and that's our masculine at work, we open the door for spirit to work through us, so that's the feminine side. And when those things come together, we have information that is accessible from that inner side of us that can then be used to take action on the outer. So both of them are extremely necessary. When we're guided by enduring grace, we gain a self-confidence that what our founder, Ernest Holmes, calls spiritual self-reliance. And he says, developing confidence in ourselves, in our ability to meet and handle all undesirable situations, requires that we must have confidence in something that is greater than we are. And that's when we have spiritual self-reliance. Our preparation through meditation, prayer, and being consciously aware that we are attuned to an infinite intelligence and we are one with the all-knowing Spirit allows us to be positive without being aggressive. It allows us to be sure of ourselves without being egotistical. And it makes us strong in our actions without the need to control or be intolerant of others. Guided by grace, our actions become the outward expression of an inner confidence that is reliant upon the knowledge that God and I are one. And it's the infinite intelligence within me that truly does the work. Again, Ernest says, listen to your own voice. It will speak in terms that are unmistakable. Trust in your own self more than in all else. All great men and women have learned to do this. Every person within his or her own soul is in direct communication with the infinite understanding. When we depend on other people, we are simply taking their light and trying to light our path with it. And finally, guided by grace, we live in gratitude. You know, so often as we finish school, got jobs, moved ahead, we begin to have a sense of entitlement, our right to have good things happen to us. And sometimes we see this in the people around us. You know, I worked hard for my education. I deserve a good job. Seeing the world through the eyes of entitlement does two things. Number one, nothing will ever be enough. And two, we are setting up ourselves for disappointment. We lose that childlike joy and we spend far too much time resenting what's missing, clinging to our rights and our notions of cosmic fairness or unfairness. Like the grandmother who was walking on the beach with her 5-year-old grandson. Suddenly a rogue wave grabbed the child and carried him out to sea. She looked up to the sky, held up her fist and said, God, this is unacceptable, unbearable. You cannot take an innocent child. And just as those words came out of her mouth, another rogue wave came and deposited the child smiling back at her feet. She picked up her grandson, looked to the sky, and said, this child had a hat. Dr. Holmes says if we make every day a day of praise and thanksgiving, a day in which we recognize the divine bounty and the eternal goodness, and if we live today as though God were the only presence and the only power there is, we would not have to worry about tomorrow. Not only would we not have to worry, but we would look forward to each new day. I don't believe that we can experience the awe and mystery of life without having a sense of gratitude, because I think they go hand in hand. You know, last week we talked about giving with joy, and especially money. And I was looking for stories about mothers this week, and I found this one from Robin Hines from Slingerland, New York. And she says, my mom had a great sense of humor and a knack for making everything fun. One thing that resonated with me even as a small child was how much she seemed to enjoy her own company and found ways to entertain herself. As a kid, I remember her giggling while paying bills. What was so funny about bill paying? She would put humorous notes in the reference section of the check memo. For the electric bill, she might put, you light up my life. And for the mortgage, she'd write, 4 shingles closer to owning it all. So if we pay with checks and bills with checks, let's start doing the same thing. Find a funny thing to put in the memo part. Well, not only is it good for us, but I'll bet the person opening the mail is going to have a little giggle too. You know, so, and if we pay online and don't have that memo part, just think of a funny saying to go with it. And that'll put paying those bills in a sense of joy and gratitude. And even when we're disappointed in the result, we can turn it into gratitude and love. And here's another Mother's Day story, and this one's from Karen Duggar in West Plains, Missouri. Upon attempting to prepare my 7-year-old daughter for a new baby in a few months, she repeatedly stated, "No boys in our house." After several months, the big day arrived and my daughter came into the hospital room. I told her that the baby was a boy and asked her, "Well, what are we going to do?" She placed both hands on her hips and without missing a beat, she said, "Well, I guess we'll just have to love the little thing." Out of the mouths of babes. So we can turn our own disappointment to wonder and joy when we just love the little thing. Thank you. Namaste.
Well, thank you for your patience with me, by the way, on the last song. Love you guys. Thank you. You know, you're all my spiritual moms and aunts and grandparents and everything. So you're all very dear to me, and so thank you for letting me be vulnerable. I almost took the day off today. And then I went, no, there's no place I'd rather be. So, having said that, let's stand and sing. This is a song called "Oh Mother God." It's by Karen Drucker, our friend, our dear, dear, awesome friend. Oh, Mother God, flowing through our hearts, we give thanks for the bread of our lives, for the hands in the earth and the fruit of your womb. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, thank you for this day, for the love that you wash over me, and this joy in my heart I will share with the world. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Let's do it from the top. Oh, Mother God, flowing through our hearts, we give thanks for the bread of our lives, for the hands in the earth and the fruit of your womb. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, thank you for this day, for the love that you wash over me, and this joy in my heart I will share with the world. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be.
Thank you. Okay, it's time for our offering, a chance to give in joy. And just to know that we're part of one divine community that's part of this whole divine life. So as we give in love and share in love, it comes back in love. So I want you to join me in the offering affirmation on the left-hand side of your bulletin towards the bottom. My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you, David. And thank you all that give so generously, that allow us to be a beneficial presence in this community. So let's take a moment to close this portion out in prayer. Please join us for refreshments. And I think we have 4 newcomers, so please don't get away without meeting me, and because I want to know who you are, and meet all of the people here who make this center a loving center. So let's just take a moment to know that there is one God, one mind, one infinite intelligence. And this infinite intelligence manifests into many forms, including you and me. And the aspects of this intelligence are love, truth, beauty, wholeness, harmony, peace, abundance. And we are made in that image and that likeness. So knowing this, I know that we are blessed by the grace of God, because God is the gift that is giving of itself each and every moment. And we accept this joy, this gift with joy and with love. And we speak a word for wherever there is a sense of chaos, confusion, heartbreak, illness, war. And know that right where those appearances are is truly God giving of itself, and results, positive results, are the outcome. So I just release all of these words, knowing that we are blessed beyond measure. And this law of divine mind is going about to do its perfect work on behalf of each and every one of us, as we say together, and so it is. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So everybody stand, form a circle, and sing stand.
So let there be peace. I have a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are living a new world now.